Hi guys, my name is Biora. In the last video, we talked about getting Python installed, making sure you understand how to access a virtual environment and create one. And in this video, we're going to be talking about getting our credentials set up. So getting both our Riot API key and also getting our Google service account so that we can, access any Google spreadsheets that we want to access. And, either use that information in Python or vice versa, create something in Python and then output it to a Google Sheet, which is pretty useful for any League of Legends data analysts. So first thing you want to do is you want to go to cloud.google.com and then just say agree. And then over here in the top left, click select project. We're going to create a new project. Let's call this spreadsheet automator. Hit create. It's going to create that up here, and then we'll hit select project. Now this project has been selected. Under APIs and services, first we're going to go to enable APIs and services. Click plus enable APIs and services. We're going to look for Google Sheets API. We're going to click this and we're going to click enable. This is going to enable the Google Sheets API for this service account. Okay, and then we're going to, over here, once we enable that, we're going to create credentials, or we can also click it here too, but create credentials. Actually, let me show you how to do it the other way, because there's another kind of form you got to do. So we're going to go to credentials here, and the top, we're going to hit create credentials. Here, we're going to go service account. Okay, we're going to make a service account here. It's going to be called spreadsheet automator. And then the description will say automate Google spreadsheets via Python. Create and continue. We're going to give this the basic role of editor. Continue. And then don't worry about anything here. We'll just hit done. Once we've done that, we're going to click on this and we're going to create a key for that. So under keys, we do add key, create a new key, JSON format, and then create. And that will give us a JSON file on our computer, which is just kind of a way to store nested data. Hit close. So that is like half of what we want to do. Next half is I want to go to the Riot developer portal. Come here. And I'm going to blur this out real quick. But I'm going to sign into the Riot developer portal. And then there should be, if this is your first time doing it, you'll need to verify your email address. And then there will be like a little slideshow, but it's basically just, giving you access to this here. Once you're done, you'll see this screen. You might need to regenerate your API key if this line here is red and says it has expired. So you would click regenerate API key, and then I'm going to copy that. And now we've gathered everything we needed to gather. So I'm going to go to Visual Studio Code. I'm going to make a new file in the workspace directory. So this will be called .env. And the way a .env file works is I can say test equals value. And what I want to be able to do is store this variable in a different file and be able to access it from this file. That is really good for security purposes. So in order to do that, we need to get a package that is called python-.env. Just a quick note, I accidentally deactivated my virtual environment while I was preparing to redo this video. And so in this section, it's going to seem like my virtual environment is deactivated, but I already installed all this stuff on my virtual environment prior. So just make sure when you do this that your virtual environment is activated. Make sure you do venv/scripts/activate. So we're going to pip install python-.env. And I've already done this, so it's already on my system, but python-.env. And then we're going to import that in here. So we're going to say from .env. So from that package, I want to import load.env, which is a function. So we're going to load the function load.env from .env. And then I also want to import OS, which is operating system. Now we're going to run that function, load.env, which means we've loaded our environment variables. And now I should be able to say I want to print os.environ.get, which means I want to get the environment variable from the file .env, which should exist in the directory of our workspace. Okay, so I want to get the environment variable named test. And if I run this cell, it should print out the value of the test variable, which should be value. Perfect. Okay. Again, the reason why you want to do this is because if you have something that is, important to keep private, for example, like an API key, this way you can store it in your environment variables file without giving it away. If you were to, for example, upload this whole package to GitHub, you could do something called git ignore, and you could ignore this file. So this file doesn't get uploaded, but everything else does. Okay. Now in here, I'm going to create a new variable called Riot API Key. We're going to name that Riot API Key, and the value will be our actual key. And I'm going to blur this because, again, I don't want anyone else to see it, right? So now if I was to print Riot API Key, it should print that key, and it did. Yeah, I'm just going to, again, it's going to be blurred, but there you go. And then once we have our Riot key, the only other thing we need to do in this video is we need to get our Google credentials set up. And what we're going to need to do is we're going to have to get a new package that is called Pygsheets. So pip install Pygsheets. You can also use gspread, I think is another common one, but this is the one that I like to use. So Pygsheets. I already have this on my system, but I'm just going to show you. So pip install Pygsheets. That is all taken care of. Now I can import Pygsheets. And what I want to do is I want to say service account equals Pygsheets.authorize. So you have to authorize our service account, and the service account file for this parameter is going to exist in a place that we create right now. So I'm going to create a new folder. This is going to be called JSONs. In here, I'm going to put the service account file from before. I'm going to copy the name of it for now, because I'll need that later. So I'm going to put that here in JSONs, and I'll blur out all that information, and then it's going to exist here. And then I will say, so that is our service account. So what I want to do is I want to say new spreadsheet equals service account dot open by URL. So this is saying we want to open the spreadsheet at this URL. And now I'm going to make a spreadsheet. So Google Sheets, we'll call this learning. And I want to share this with my service account so that it can access the file. So I'm going to get my client email in here, copy that, and I will share this spreadsheet with my service account so that I can access it via Python. So say I want to put, we'll say random numbers. And I want to take this, I want to do equals rand between 0, 100. There you go. And let's just take that and make a whole column of it, okay? Now I want to go in here and I want to open that URL. So share it, copy the link, and open that URL. And now, theoretically, I should have that sheet here. Right, you know that works because you have the green little check mark. And then once we have that, what we're going to do, actually real quick, I'm going to give this sheet a name. So we'll call this test. And then in here, now I can say sheet.worksheet. And then I'll say I want to grab this by its title. And the title is test, right? So if I do that, now that is this worksheet. And then I can do test.get as df. df stands for data frame, and data frames are something that are used by a package called pandas. So real quick, pip install pandas. We're going to need this for a lot of stuff we do in the future, but we're going to grab pandas here. And then once that is done, we can run test.get as df. Sorry, we'll need to, I think we'll actually need to either restart this or actually restart VS Code. I can't remember. but once you restart this whole thing, you're gonna have to run this cell again because it all the variables have been lost, so it kind of doesn't exist anymore. Okay, and then we're gonna say test equals sheet.worksheet, title is test, and then get as data frame. And there you go. So now the random numbers that we had in that Google Sheet will appear in Python. And if we wanted to, we could manipulate this. So I can say test df equals test get as data frame. And if I wanted to, I can say test df and the column random numbers. I want everything in that column to be equal to 1. And now if I look at test df, everything is 1. And if I wanted to, I could say test.setDataFrame, and then we're going to put our test df in here. And then we're going to say, we're going to start this at cell A1, and copy head is going to be true in this case because we want to keep the header in there. And if I do that and hit enter, now everything is 1. So I can grab this data and manipulate it and put it back in there, etc. And that'll be very useful in the future. So that's actually the end of this video. What we did in this video is we grabbed our Google Service account. We made sure that we can interact with Google Sheets via Pygsheets. And then we also grabbed our Riot API key and we stored it in a secure location that we're going to actually use in the next video. So in the next video, we're going to grab the personal unique user ID or PUUID of a player on the SoloQ ladder, and we're going to see if we can use that to then look into their SoloQ games. So I'll see you on the next video.